Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. We're back! Yay! We are back. It feels like going back to school, and for some people, they will have sent kids off to school today. So I'm doubly happy I've got one at school, and we're back on the Business Brunch. So welcome back to everybody. If this is the first time you've seen it or you've stumbled across it by accident, stay, because we've got some great stuff to come out today. But this show is for leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs who want to connect with like-minded souls, learn something that's going to help them thrive. And let's face it, with the way things are going in the world at the moment, we all need to be just a little bit better than everybody else to thrive. But today, we are delighted to be joined by Donna O'Toole, who is an award-winning entrepreneur, an author of the book Win, which you can just see behind you, and the founder, there it is, and the founder of August Recognition. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be explaining what you're going to do and how you're going to be sharing insights today in a minute. But just before we do anything, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? Where do you come from?
Oh, thanks, Sarah. That's a lovely introduction. Hi, everyone, and good afternoon. Thanks for coming on today. Yeah, my name's Donna O'Toole. So I'm the founder of August Recognition, which is an agency that helps businesses, brands, and individuals all over the world to find, enter, and win the awards that are going to help them raise their profile and build their business and achieve whatever it is that their dreams are. So that could be, if you're an entrepreneur, it could be to work less, it could be to grow your team, it could be to double the size of your company, whatever that is, whatever your goal is, that's really what our aim and our mission is, to help people to achieve, really, through winning awards.
Fabulous. We're looking forward to hearing. I mean, I know because I had a session with you a couple of weeks ago on a program that I'm on. There is so much you could share with us, and we're only going to get a snapshot of it today. But we will be sharing how to get in touch with Donna afterwards, because I'm sure there's going to be loads more questions as well. But buy the book. It's there. It's got lots of information in it. But we're going to be looking at, why recognition and rewards are important and how it does everything you've just said. The way the show works is we have a quick hello to everybody. So if you're there, say hello to us. I've got a few people saying welcome back already, which is great. Let us know how you are. And if you've got any questions for Donna, pop those in. We might not get them answered straight away, but we will do as the show goes on. But first of all, welcome back, Vanessa. Welcome back, Melinda. How are you both?
Glorious. So we are back. It's so nice to be back. Hello, everybody. When you see these names, coming saying hello again, it is lovely to be back. And as you say, kids are back at school tomorrow. I just got back yesterday from holiday. I'm all gorgeously tanned. Look at that.
You are
so hard at doing nothing. It was wonderful. But yeah, back, refreshed, ready to go. Looking forward to finding out how to win.
Yeah, because a lot of people won't realize that, you might think, as a marketer, can I win an award, or should I just be a marketer? And what difference would it make? I'm a leader. What do leaders do? Everybody can win. I didn't realize that. Everyone can win awards. So it's great. Melinda might have a few problems with her audio, so she's going to speak quickly and then go quiet.
Yes. I am away, because I took a late holiday this year. So I am broadcasting today in Italy, and really happy to be back and seeing everybody. And revelation, when you think about it, how a lot of people just think, oh, somebody else will nominate if I should have one. And a lot of people don't realize that they act for themselves and really leverage their own knowledge of what they've done. Really looking forward to what Donna has to say today.
You are really dropping.
And I'll be dropping.
Yeah, I think best you're going to do this through and that today, because the audio is a little bit dodgy. But just a quick introduction from me. I'm an executive coach, and I work with senior leaders and their teams, helping them develop the mindset and skills to achieve crazy, ridiculous results, which is great fun. Vanessa, our marketer, and Melinda, our consultant and founder of the Consultant Mentor. So you've got a motley crew today who know some stuff, and even if we don't, we'll make it up. And we've got lots of questions to ask. So should we just pop over to the who's in quickly, Vanessa?
Yeah, let's do that. So let's say hello. So Kimberly says good morning, although we've just entered the afternoon. Why is that not showing? Oh, that's odd. We've got a technical. Is it showing for anybody else? It's not showing for me.
Not showing on here, no.
Wait, maybe if I do. Oh, no, that doesn't do it.
Well, don't worry. We'll let you.
Normally we should.
Yeah, so normally the comments come up. It's not doing. So anyways, let's just say hello to Kimberly. Hello to Danny. Welcome back, Danny. Thanks for coming back. Andy David is here again and says hello, welcome back. Andy asks, where can we find the book? And Danny, very helpfully, has included the link to Amazon for the book. So he sent that. So thank you, Danny. Perfect. And just for anybody else, we're going live on at least 12 different channels. So if you can't see any comments on your channel, it's not because you're the only one. So do please say hello. And yeah, if we can get them to show, we'll just show them.
Hey, it's back to school. There's a glitch. Who knows what's going on? But let's kick over to the main show today, which is hearing from the lovely Donna about rewards, recognition, a bit more about August Recognition. So you are the founder of August Recognition. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this? And then we'll get stuck into why should we be interested in getting awards and how do we go about doing it?
Yeah, of course. So August Recognition, just to clear up any questions anyone has around the name, because people always ask me, is the word August is actually based on the second sense of the word, which means respected and admired and honoured. I'm a linguist, so I like words that have deep and meaningful alternative meanings. So it works well for me, but I don't have a child who was born in August or a birthday in August, in case anyone's wondering. Yeah, so August Recognition, we're all about supporting individuals, teams and businesses to raise their profile through winning awards and to really achieve their potential through the recognition that they get through awards. And as Melinda quite rightly said, often people think, oh, well, if I was deserving of an award, someone would have nominated me. But it really doesn't work like that in the business world. You can be nominated in some awards for some things by others. But actually, this is what we do, is about empowering you and taking charge of your own business and personal journey and what you're going to achieve in reaching your goals yourself. So really getting rid of what we call awards imposter syndrome. And getting over that and into a phase of activity where actually the positive business development that comes from awards can really change your direction or really help you and accelerate your direction if you know where you're going. So there's a lot to be done, and it's really applicable to anyone and any business leader in any industry. It's not just for recruiters or whoever else, it really is, no matter who you are, you could be winning.
It's interesting what you say about imposter syndrome. It's one of the things I work with clients on a lot, and actually was talking to a group today about that and how if we don't show up and offer what we're good at and people don't know we exist, how can we help people with what we're good at or what we're great at? And this is just a way of really putting yourself out there so that the people who need you can find you.
Yeah,
and yeah, so you're almost doing a disservice by not doing it. But yeah, there's going to be that little bit of imposter, which obviously needs to be overcome. But how do you do it then? How do you get ready? I mean, there's so many things you could go for. Some of them are paid for, some are not. I know you've been asked that question a million times about should we be paying to get involved in this? Tell us some stuff. What do we need to know?
Well, first of all, Danny has shared that Liz Truss is the new Prime Minister, so I think we all knew that was happening. And Danny, thank you for choosing me over Lynn Truss. That's nice. And I'm not going to talk to you about any of that stuff today, but I will answer your questions. So that makes me, ahead of the politicians. So basically, the way that we work and the way that we advise and through experience have found is the absolute best way of dealing with awards is to work strategically, is to have a plan. Because if you just jump in and out of awards because some happen to jump into your email box or someone happened to enter or win an award and you think, oh, well, I want that, I'm going to do the same thing as them, then you're really not using the awards as a tool strategically to grow your business or to achieve a particular goal. You're just sort of dipping in and out. And anyone who dips in and out is typically going to have less chance of winning than someone who plans and works strategically towards an award. So that's the first step, I'd say, is don't just jump in, stand back, actually, take a step back, look at your business, look at where you are today. And something really important to understand about awards, no matter what size the business is or how long you've been in operation, is that awards, business awards, good ethical business awards, can only recognise you for what you've already achieved, not what you're going to achieve. Okay, so what you're going to achieve, you have all these great plans coming up in the next year or so, is great, and it's a nice to know as far as the awards are concerned, but you can't evidence that yet because it hasn't happened yet. So awards can only help you to win for things that have happened. Okay, so the first thing I always say to do is actually to look back, and you could grab a notepad and just kind of brainstorm some ideas while you're doing this, and think, right, what are the best things that we've done in the last year? And that might come up with a client name that you've worked with or you've helped, or that might come up with the growth that you've had in your business that you've achieved. It might come up with a community project that you've been involved in. It could be anything. But just thinking yourself, you will know in your heart what you've done that you're really proud of, and that actually that is the first key indicator of, okay, well, could this potentially be award winning? Okay, so that's kind of step one. Now, different awards.
Can I just ask a question?
Because I was gone.
Yeah, can I just ask a question? Is so if I'd done something 8 years ago, can I use that, or is that too? I mean, how far in the past can you go? I'm assuming it's got to be a recent past.
Well, it actually depends on the award, and most industry awards, and you kind of average industry award or entrepreneur award, will be asking what you've achieved in the last year. So it's typically 1 year, possibly into 2. If you work on something like campaigns, so digital marketing campaigns, things like that, they will usually have a very specific time period that your campaign had to be live within. So it's always worth understanding if there is a period of time. But actually, what happened 8 years ago could be the context for what's happening today or what's happened in the last year. So you can't think back and go, oh, I did this great project 8 years ago. I've just, I've never had any contact with that client since, but, I'm going to put it in for an award. That's not going to work. But if what happened 8 years ago led you to insights that helped you to develop something that's happening today, then certainly it could become part of the foundation and part of the story for that.
Okay, cool. Any questions from you, Vanessa?
No, I'm good. I'm just, while you're speaking, I'm thinking, okay, what's happened in the past year that we can shout about?
Yeah, it's worth saying though that actually the higher up the awards ladder you go, the further back they look. And so something like the Queen's Award for Enterprise, which actually is our deadline is tomorrow for, so it's a busy day here at August House, is that some of the categories of that go back 6 years. Actually, they're looking at all your business performance over 6 years, and you only need to have a minimum of 2 people in your business to enter that award. So even though it's the most prestigious award in the world and it comes from the Queen, actually it's enterable by many organisations, but it will take you back further depending on the category. So everything I say is not necessarily applicable to every single award, but every award has its own process. That's what's important to know.
Which is why you need an expert in it, I guess, because there's so many variables.
It can be, it's quite complex. It can be complex if you're working to a plan, like I say, but actually that's going to get you the best result in the end. So it's definitely worth it.
Okay. There's a couple of questions that have come through.
So Kimberly says, yes, use a strategic approach toward any process or business plan. That's reflection number 1. So thank you, Kimberly, for helping anyone who comes later to kind of copy those notes in. And then so we've had strategic plan, and then what have you achieved? Look back. So before you carry on, or maybe this comes up later, Danny asks, what's your views on awards judging? Are they unofficially used as a potential influencing method for future awards you may enter?
Okay, so I'm a judge. I judge across many awards. So obviously from my perspective, it's different. I learn a lot from the judging that I do because can imagine the wealth of industries and wealth of teams that present and present their entries. There's so much to learn. I think if you were thinking about going into judging, strategically that can be a good idea. Different awards allow for different things and different people to get involved. Sometimes if you win an award, you'll be invited to be a judge the following year. And it can be strategically a great way of learning what else is going on in your industry or learning what others are doing. So yeah, it's absolutely knowledge building. What I really like about most judging nowadays is times have changed quite a bit in awards since I was first in it a decade ago. And I feel that it's become much more open and transparent. Judging it's had to be, and I've pushed for it as much as anyone else. It's people want to know that they're entering really good, robust competitions that are being fairly judged. And so now that actually, both on the judging side of the table and when you're entering, many awards will give you very comprehensive feedback on your award entry as well. So not only can you learn from being a judge and take that opportunity if you get it, but you could also learn from entering. We have a saying which I coined from Nelson Mandela saying, which is you will win or you learn. And that is so true with awards. You can either win or you can learn something from it to bring your business forward. So yeah, every part of the awards process can be learned from.
Brilliant. I think Melinda's got a question.
I got a question. Yes. I'd like to know a bit more, kind of stepping back a little. How do people approach, or how does your firm approach appropriate awards to enter for, or to even apply, or to apply for, rather? Start looking for the awards that you submit people for.
That's a good question. Thanks, Melinda. So we do a research project basically for each client. So that's the short answer. So there are literally thousands of awards in the world. We have a database of awards of thousands of awards and categories, okay? And one of the important things that I always talk about is getting in the right race. And so, you know, the probably about 50% of the awards I judge, actually those award entries, had those people have entered a different category, they could have actually won. And yet they don't win because they're not quite in the category that's showing up their strengths best, or they haven't analysed the competition. So actually it's not just about, well, I'm good at this, therefore, you know, someone's going to recognise that. It's about taking that strategic approach and thinking, well, who else is going to enter that competition? What are they doing that I'm not, or vice versa? Potentially, what awards are there out there, and strategically, what would I have the best chance of winning for the information and evidence that I can provide for what I've achieved? So for every client that we work with, we start by assessing their business. There's certain triggers that demonstrate whether you're more or less likely to win certain types of awards. So we compare those then against the awards criteria, and we essentially then refine that into a strategic actionable plan of awards and categories that they can enter. So we do have, though, you know, for people who are not doing that, we do have some awards lists on our website of good ethical awards that are in certain industries or cover certain sectors. And we also have an awards tool called the Awards Generator. So you can input your data into that, so about your business, and it will actually recommend to you certain awards. So that's definitely worth having a look at as a starting point, I'd say.
We'll grab those links
Really
off
cool.
you and pop them into the chat. So if you're watching this or watching it on replay, then make sure you go and find those. We'll put those in when this is finished. So how do they help us? I mean, it's great to be known as the best, but what have you got any real examples of how it helps that can inspire?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really, how it helps depends on how you want it to help. Okay, so it's really important to step back and think, like, what do I actually want these awards to do for me? So, for example, you know, common goals would be to grow your business, so get in front of customers. Well, if you think practically about how we all live and work now, I think that we do a lot of research and we read a lot of research as well. And I think the statistics now is that 85% of consumers now want to see reviews and awards on websites in order to trust that company. Now that's gone up since the pandemic, because obviously what happened in the pandemic, we all had to just rely on online, didn't we? And online shopping, online purchasing. But also a lot of businesses that we thought were stable suddenly went bust And so you had like your holiday booked, you had all these different things. And so now, naturally, as consumers, we're more cautious about how we're spending our money. Whether that's B2B, so as a business serving another business, or B2C, it doesn't matter. We naturally, that human instinct is kicking in. So now more than ever, awards, showing that you've got awards and then being good awards on your website, on your email sign-offs, on your social channels, etc., is really, really important. And that will definitely align with helping you to secure, pull the buying trigger, basically. So you can do your own tests on that from your befores and after having awards on your website. You know, every company and every individual is going to be different, but we certainly work with clients who we know, particularly, so for example, an agency, they will say a digital agency, and they will say, if we don't have up-to-date awards, we will not win those sales pitches that we're going to, because other businesses will come along who do have up-to-date awards and they will win them because we look like we're lagging then if we don't. And it's just like that concept. You go into a shop to buy a bottle of wine, you know, you don't know what you're going to get. So, oh, that one's got an award, I think I'll go for that one, you know. So you feel safe, you feel secure, you feel there's credibility. Someone else has put their stamp of approval on it, which our natural human instinct is then to feel safer about buying ourselves. So there's that side of it, you know, if you want to get more customers. If you want to recruit, so important nowadays. The most savvy talent out there is looking to work with award-winning businesses who are going to look after them. They want to be in a workplace that cares about them. So actually showcasing on social media that you're winning awards for your team, with your team, as part of the team is super important now, because it shows so much more than just we're a great brand, look at us. It's actually, no, we really care about our employees, and if you work with us, we'll look after you. And that's become really important. And then also,
I think that's so important. This because, you know, with the amount of people that are choosing to leave their jobs right now and go and find better employment or employers or employees, that there's got to be something to help us stand out. And this really does make a difference. And if it's, you know, if you are consistently winning awards for looking after your people, there's a chance you might actually not just be talking hot air, you might actually be doing it. And,
well, you have to be, and particularly actually the people-based awards and the best ones out there. There's such a lot of information and such a lot that goes into those that really you can't blag it. You know, you're not winning an award just because you've got a great brand. You're winning an award because you're genuinely doing the right thing. And also the other thing that's really interesting, I find this really helpful actually, even just as a leader myself. I've got a big team to look after. And I can tell you that 5 years ago, businesses were entering competitions saying, yeah, we look after a team, you know, we do everything for them. We give them fruit and a pool table and a popcorn shop, you know, and that was really the start of a kind of new trend of looking after employees. Now it's completely different. Now we give them flexible working, we give them shares in the business, it's very tangible and meaningful. And actually when you judge those awards or you get involved in those competitions, you can see how business has changed, and therefore, and obviously that puts us in a strong position to be able to advise our clients. Well, you think you're doing a great job with your team, and I'm sure you're lovely, but actually, do you know what the best businesses out there are really doing? And so all of these processes kind of help you to pull your own business up to a level of what is now expected in the marketplace. So they really pull the business forward.
Yeah, interesting point that you made around, you know, keeping up to date current awards out there. I personally find, like, when I go on to a restaurant guide or something and see if they're advertising an award that they got years ago and they've had nothing since, I might be a bit skeptical. So is it, if all you've got is old awards, is it best to not show them? Like, what's the life cycle credibility? I would guess that if you have newer awards, having the older ones is fine because it shows a pattern. But if all you've got is the older ones, is it best at some point to just roll those off and then?
Well, I mean, I can't make a kind of big decision for everyone, and it is slightly different in different industries, and some awards are on a cycle, so some actually you will only get every 3 years and things like that. But I would say, as a consumer myself of anything, if I see that a company has got awards that are probably more than 2 years old, I'd think, oh, you didn't win it the following year, then why is that? You've gone downhill since then that's a shame. That's what I would genuinely think. That's just the human instinct to think that. So yeah, it's really important to not kind of rest on your laurels with it. And it also, obviously, I've got a different point of view because I'm in the industry, but I know that if you won an award in 2010 for your customer experience, that does not mean that you are providing today's level of customer experience, because what's been expected in awards has really changed. So for me, having current awards is really important, actually, and definitely worth doing a review and an overhaul of how you present that to your customers.
Vanessa, we got some people popping into the chat. I think we have.
Only in that Kimberly again is helping with notes, and she's saying being a judge provides a knowledge building experience that I like and I'd not thought of before. And then Danny said his eye was twitching at the mention of fruit in the office and being a good employer. I think I'm cynical, and I think I'm just generally cynical, and I'm cynical of awards because I kind of think most of them come with a price attached. You've got to pay to enter, or there's some kind of sponsorship or something. And there are so many now, and it seems that there are loads of companies, little companies of 2 or 3 people, creating awards ceremonies that seem to be celebrations of their customers or their best friends. So I like the idea that you've got a list of awards, reputable awards, I guess, on your website. But how can we select? I know you said kind of research, but how do you select awards? How do you know which are the best ones to go for?
I think so the point to make here is the awards is not a governed industry. So you're right, anybody can start an award. You guys can all go and start one tomorrow. And in some respects I like that, because that means that you do get new awards in new industries. And actually times have changed. We've got new industries opening up that we never imagined, years before. And there isn't you don't have to be a particular authority to run an awards program. However, what that does mean is that we as entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders, teams, whatever, need to do our due diligence about what we're entering and why and when and how and all the rest of it. In the same way as you would do your due diligence if you were placing an advert somewhere, if you were signing up for some marketing or PR, whatever it is, it's part of your marketing and PR strategy. So really, you should be thinking it through and not drop. This is why I say don't just, it's a bit like any industry. The bad few ruin it for the good many, because you get the odd email in your inbox going, oh, you've won this amazing award, you just pay us £1,000, you can have it. And ignore it. That's rubbish. If someone sent you an email saying, oh, I'm going to give you this to do another, you'd ignore it. So just ignore it. That's fine. But there are reputable awards that have been around year on year on year on year, where you can see the process is robust. It's not an email asking you to spend money. What I find slightly frustrating is that there's an assumption that because you have to pay to enter an award, that there's something dodgy going on with that. And I think that's important to make a distinction between these companies that are just basically advertisers and sales who drop emails on you, to actual reputable awards organisations who have to pay to put on an event for you. You can't expect to attend an event for nothing. It doesn't work that they're not charities and they don't have to provide you with recognition. So I think the important thing is to look at who's running it, who's the organizer, do they have other awards programs, what do their social channels say? You can see from that whether people have been involved, whether they've been at those ceremonies, what kind of brands get involved with them, things like that. What is the cost of entering? Now, I'm just going to give you an example, and this is where I think sometimes there's a false economy in thinking, false understanding. So if you take an award like the Lloyd's British Business Excellence Awards, for example, very popular, very prestigious award in the UK, recognises some of the best businesses in the UK across lots of different categories. Now, they charge an entry fee, I actually can't remember what it is off the top of my head, it's around a couple of £100, something like that. Now, if you enter that award and you get into the shortlist, you will be featured in a supplement by their media partner, so you'll immediately be getting PR. You'll be invited to awards events, which are really high-profile events that are attended by their sponsors in great locations. I think House of Commons, the Tate, things like Tate Modern, and things like that. You'll meet other finalists, so you get a great opportunity to network. You get a free ticket into the final anyway, and you sit with the other finalists of your category and know that so much business is done at these events. Okay, if you win, you'll get featured again in a bit of content. That £250 entry fee you spend, and maybe you buy a few more tickets for your family or your friends or your team to come, is going to return you a huge amount of investment, okay, opportunity. So it's about actually, if you're strategic, you're planning that in and you're thinking, right, I'm going to spend this and I'm going to aim to return that, and this is what I'm going to get back. There's other competitions like the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, for example, which are sponsored by Starling Bank, which are free to enter. So you don't have to pay to enter that because they've got a huge sponsor, so they don't need your payment to run that. And then there's other competitions that are run by what I'd call a kind of pure play awards organisations. So, for example, the UK Customer Experience Awards are run by Awards International. They have awards programmes all over the world. They're absolutely brilliant, super robust in their judging. I judge for one of my favourite competitions to judge, and they cost, I think, a couple of £100 to enter. But the feedback you get from your entries is so comprehensive; it could be business changing for you. The brands that you'll meet at those competitions, could be business changing for you. So and they're a pure play awards organisation. They're not getting their fees in from anything else other than for you paying for the privilege of entering. So it's really important to understand where you're putting your money and to be strategic. Don't just give people money who send you emails or think, oh, therefore all awards are dodgy. They're not. But it's like everything in business. You do need to take a level of responsibility about what you're looking into and what you're paying for as well.
So a bit of due diligence on our side. I got an email from someone, I won't say their name, but basically it said, oh, I've been looking at your profile and you could win this award. And I was like, yay, cool. And he said, all you need to do is fill in this form and I'll do it all for you. And actually the awards were absolutely not true. They didn't exist. All it was, got me onto his database and kept sending me messages saying, do you want to join a coaching group?
I get those. I get them as well, and I just think, do you want to have a look at my profile?
I was like, seriously? So, I mean, I fell for it because it didn't cost me anything. And I was like, well, what if it is true? But, I've unsubscribed, clearly. But, you've got to look at, it's like anything. If you're going to do it properly, do it properly. We can all pay cheap and pay twice, or do it properly the first time. And what I love is to understand that the investment actually is worth it with the right investment in the right way, at the right time.
And quality over quantity as well. You don't need 100 awards. You need a few good ones. So, that's going to make a difference. And building that into your budget could be the best investment you've ever made. I mean, just from our clients, I can tell you, some of them come back from awards competitions where they've had to pitch saying, oh my goodness, I've won and now I've got this opportunity to be mentored by this person, or I didn't win, but actually this judge has been in contact with me because they love the brand and they want to talk about investment. And, so the opportunities that come out of it are wider than just the award, or they should be.
Oh, I'm sure. We've had Danny's busy, Vanessa, isn't he? He's busy in the chat.
You said about choosing award programs or which awards to go for. He says some of the existing ones are potentially misnomers. In particular, some employee experience awards are really about process improvements and project methodologies rather than more psychologically linked drivers and cultural change programs. Kimberly also says she agrees nothing comes for free.
Never does. Never does. So we've understood, I mean, we've got so much already that you've got to be strategic. You've got to get in the right race. You need to look at, work with reputable people for the right reason at the right time, get help from the experts. We know that it's going to help us attract more people if we're in business, the right people. We know it's going to be good for our own personal brand. What else do you think it's worth us knowing about that we're allowed to squeeze out of you while we've got you?
Well, other things I think are important to understand, and so this is in particular if you're an entrepreneur, so if you run your own business, is actually that your story is important. It's part of what makes you unique. And in the book, actually, I tell a story about a genuine true story. I was judging some awards, and because of the type of award that it was and the category that it was, I said I could have changed the brand name on all of the entries and you wouldn't have known the difference between who was doing what, because no one in that process thought to actually tell me why, what interested them, why it meant something to them, what their passion and their purpose was, and what their mission in the world was. They told me about all the process and what they'd done and how they'd done it and what they'd achieved, but actually you're really unique. So one of the things that we say, and this goes the same for teams as well and leaders of teams, is to look for your unique selling point and understand what that is before you start throwing yourself into awards programs, trying to fit the box that you think that the judges want you to fit. Okay, so yes, it's important to understand the criteria. It's also important to be real and to be true. And there's 3 key factors that I always say have to come together in order to make a winner. And this is what's really important. So it's the logic, the emotion, and the evidence. And they are the 3 key elements. And if you can't bring those together, or if you've entered awards before and you haven't won, the chances are you haven't had all of those 3 together. So the logic is the logical story of why you're doing what you're doing, from a kind of practical point of view, and who you're serving and how you're serving them, etc. The emotion, though, is really important. So as a judge, I want to be engaged. I want to get behind you. I want to finish reading that and go, wow, they are amazing. I want them to win. I don't want to finish reading all the entries and go, I have no idea who I would do. Actually, kind of the same thing. So I've got to get the emotional engagement as well, and that tends to come from the more human side of your award entry. So that's your client case studies, your examples, the feedback that you're getting, your personal journey, your story. I don't want to know everything about your personal journey, but I need some context and why it means something to you to be doing what you're doing. And then bringing that together with evidence. And then for the evidence, you need both qualitative evidence, so the case studies, etc., the feedback, but quantitative as well to back that up. So you need metrics and surveys and impact data and all of those things. So we spend quite a lot of time helping businesses, particularly smaller businesses who don't do this as a matter of course, whereas the big businesses do this a lot, to gather client impact data, because actually with that data you can use it for so much to help you build your business, but especially in awards as well. So I think that's what I'd say is the three key elements there.
Yeah, it's incredible. And if you think about, as someone who deals with mindset a lot, coaching is always around the mindset, and then the mentoring bit is more about skills. But it's, if you're not letting people get into your brain, if you're not helping them feel an emotion towards you, it's just really stale. No one's at it. People make decisions first based on how they feel, and then on the facts that back it up. So if you're not giving them that, you're really missing an opportunity. It's the same when you're selling something, when you're helping someone buy something, anything like that. And it's often the bit that's forgotten because people feel a bit icky about it. Or when they start to go, well, what is it special about you? What's your story? They're like, oh, I've never thought of that before. So it's a really important piece of work to be doing, and something that a lot of us probably don't do as a matter of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was just going to say, so Danny agrees, head, heart, wallet. When he used to write award submissions, the story and the journey were the most important part. The numbers then evidence that story. And absolutely, and people do forget that bit, don't they? Because they go for the logical and the rational, they look for the evidence of what was delivered. But we know from going to awards ceremonies, you listen to the stories of the finalists and you think, I want them to win because they've got a good story. And I was just reading Alchemy by Rory Sutherland on holiday, and that's all about how we make decisions as humans. It's not logical first, as Sarah was saying, it's your emotional part. So it's really important. And so how to win. So we've got how do they help, how to find the right awards, and then how to win them. This is gold. So logic, emotion, and evidence. I've got it all written down. As I love
that. Just me too. And not that I don't know if I'll be able to read this again if you can see it. I know what it says. But just one thing about the emotional center as well, that just the coaching bit coming out of me is our emotional center is 5 times stronger than our rational brain. So it jumps in, it has stronger decision-making power. So just backing up exactly what you're saying, not that I need to, but I just want to add that in because
absolutely. Oh, I will say as well, you do get the entries where it's all story and no evidence.
Yes,
And then, you know, with it, we've got, in the book, actually, there's 10 different personas that we find most commonly of people entering awards. So we have like the storyteller who tells you everything but doesn't back it up, but then the opposite is the mathematician who gives you all the evidence but not really the story. So we want the persona we're trying to bring everyone to is the athlete, because the athlete knows what they're aiming for, continues and tries and trains for it, and eventually that's who becomes the winner.
I love that. I love it. Okay, so we've got so much from you already. How can people get in touch with you? We're going to share all this as well because we can't just link it in there. And have you got anything that you're going to give people for watching today?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have on our website is craftedbyaugust.com. And I'll give you the links later. So on the website, there's a couple of free tools on there that you can utilize. So we have the awards generator I mentioned earlier. So if you're just thinking, well, I'd like to see what kind of awards I could enter right now, then you can pop your details into there, ask you a few questions, and it will generate some general business awards that are reputable, good awards, and that will fit your persona. And then we also have how to win business awards scorecard. So in that one, what that does is that tests your answers against the 6 pillars of award success, which you can read about in the book. So there's, for example, innovation, inspiration, etc., etc. And it will ask you certain questions and then deliver a report to you showing you where you're higher and lower. And that can be really helpful with suggestions on how to improve in what areas, but also to help you identify where your strengths are right now. Because sometimes people think, oh, well, I'm going to wait till all my ducks are in a row and then I'll enter awards. But actually, you can have some great strengths already that you could be winning awards for now while you're getting your other ducks in a row. And I can tell you now, no one's ducks are ever all in a row, ever. So, waiting, and one of my phrases is stop waiting and start winning, because the amount of companies I've spoken to said, yeah, we really want to do this, we really want to do it, we're just going to wait till next year. And then what happens in the meantime? Pandemic. You know, you get ill, a team leader moves or changes, or you lose a key client. You know, things happen in business all the time. And as I said, because you can only go back a year if you're entering a standard business award. If it's good now, it's worth entering now. But that report will help you to understand where your strengths are lying right now.
I know Danny's effectively working for you now, which is wonderful.
Thanks, Danny. I've got a job going.
He's got a full-time job, but Danny, you're amazing. But he's put your link into the website. We're gonna have to get Danny on as a cog in our wheel, aren't we? And he's just wonderful. But thanks for putting that on there. And if there's any other links, Donna will get one of her lovely team to pop them into this into the comments, so you can find them either right now or when you're watching on capture. I mean, I'm inspired again. I've already heard some of this, but I'm now doubly inspired, and I think I've remembered more than I heard the last time, because there's so much to take in. But your book is out there; people can get hold of it on Amazon, which is
absolutely the great thing with the book as well. I should say you can download it on Amazon. It comes with a digital workbook that's free as well. So once you've got the book, there's links in there that take you to that digital workbook, and on there. You will find that you can actually work through all the different elements of the book yourself in a way that you can then build up towards your awards later on. So there's lots you can do in there.
That's brilliant. That's great. We've had a message in from Kimberly.
We have, yeah. So she says, thank you to the Business Brunch. August equals Poppy, respect. Research equals awards, criteria, action plan. Awards equal trust, business growth, recruiting, the impression, current awards, the right awards, my avatar, getting into the right race, emotions plus logic, and evidence, and gather client impact data. She's basically trying to sum everything up.
Oh goodness, Kimberly, you win an award. It's just an award to say well done, and we're all clapping you just for capturing all of that and listening so carefully. Donna, you have been an absolute star. I'm so grateful that you could join us today. I know you had busy you are, especially today, but with the book just being launched and everything. If you haven't got the book already and you're interested in this, which sounds like we all should be and could be, then get it. And we will all watch with great interest to what happens to the book, to you, and to August Recognition. I'm sure it's just going to keep flourishing and growing and growing.
Thank you.
But thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that's joined us today. And if you're watching this on catch up, drop us a note saying you've watched it on replay, and tell Donna how wonderful it was, because it really was. And hopefully we'll get you back on soon. You can tell us some more.
Yeah, it's awards season. I'm about to go to all the ceremonies now.
Okay. So you might need some time to dry out after that then.
That's another thing we didn't mention, is it? The other benefit of entering awards is you get to put your posh frock on and have a nice
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, people do not realise how valuable those images of you at ceremonies actually becoming on marketing and everything. It's super valuable.
Yeah, it's a good point. So there's so many positives to it. There's all these little bits we don't think of. But thank you so much. Lovely to see everybody. We're so glad to be back. We'll see you next week with some more fascinating insights that will help you develop, grow, thrive, and cope with this ever-changing world that we're in. And thank you, Danny, especially for all your input, and to Kimberly as well. And hi to Waggy.
Thank you.
We know you're there. See you soon, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.